Town Council will continue to work on the budget next week. Barnstable senior citizens gather for the annual Health and Wellness Expo, and we have details about how mating season can be a hazard for drivers. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Friday, May 9th, 2014. I'm Sarah Mantle. Next Thursday night, Town Council will continue work on the capital plan for fiscal 2015. That will include capital items for the airport, as well as some remaining community service items. Council meets Thursday night at 7 in the Town Hall hearing room. That meeting will air live on Channel 18. The agenda will be made available on the town's website next week. Diamondback terrapins that have been raised by Barnstable Elementary students will be released next month on Sandy Neck Beach. During the release, residents can learn more about the Diamondback terrapin and the Head Start program that is in its third year. The event will be held Sunday, June 8th at 5 p.m. Attendees should plan on taking a short 10-minute walk to the release area from the gatehouse. Well, spring is upon us, and that means it's mating season. Animals are often more active than usual during this time of year, and that can be trouble on busy roadways. Natural Resource Officer Amy Croto says she rescued a snapping turtle last week in Osterville that had been hit by a car.
A lot of these animals, and especially turtles at this time of year, are either searching for mates or are looking for areas to lay eggs in their nests. And when they do that, they often have to cross roadways. And because of, increased traffic over the years, and because, unfortunately, a lot of people don't pay as much attention behind the wheel as perhaps we used to, a number of these turtles get hit while they're trying to cross the road. Specifically last week, I was called out to Main Street in Osterville, close to the corner of Swift Avenue. It's sort of a dangerous corner, and a almost 24-pound snapping turtle had been hit by a vehicle and had actually moved across the street successfully into a ditch, but was in sort of dire need of medical attention. So I was called out and went down into the bottom of a ditch and then proceeded to argue and fight with this snapping turtle for about 35 minutes before I finally got him into the animal carrier tub and was able to bring him to Cape Wildlife to get looked at. Because his shell wasn't completely broken and his internal organs were not exposed, there's a good chance that he will survive. But it's often that these animals that are hit are not so lucky and don't survive.
Yeah, absolutely. Really something we need to look out for. Wanted to ask you a little bit, if residents come across this kind of thing in their day-to-day activities, how do they know whether it's a snapping turtle or a regular turtle that, isn't going to harm them?
Sure. Well, snapping turtles are notorious for sort of looking like ancient dinosaurs. They have very sort of like hard shell and a hard tail, and they will snap at you no matter sort of what condition they're in. They could be on their, deathbed in their final moments, and they still will try to attack you. The reason being is turtles are, made differently, and snapping turtles specifically have a very small bottom shell, which is their plastron, and they don't have the ability, like a lot of other turtles, to completely close up into their shells for protection. So they need to be able to, bite things that are potentially trying to harm them. And anytime we come in contact with wildlife, even though we know that we're trying to help them, they always perceive us as a threat. So definitely, they usually run on the large side. They have very, like spiny tails, and they don't have the ability to retract into their shells. So that's usually, your sign that it's a snapper. If you do find a snapping turtle or any turtle, what you want to do if you're willing to help it cross the road is, move it in the direction that it is facing, because that's the way that it wants to go. Specifically, if it's not a snapping turtle, you can pick up that turtle and physically move it. If it is a snapping turtle, my suggestion is to actually grab it by the tail, spin it around, and drag it in the direction that it was coming from, or that it was moving towards, rather. So that way, if you hold on to it by the tail, you're not running a risk of getting bit, because even though you may think if you hold it by the back of the shell, they can actually extend their necks very, very far and can reach back and bite you that way.
Croto says if a resident does not want to attempt to help an injured animal, they can call the Marine and Environmental Affairs Office for support. The Barnstable Senior Center was buzzing with activity today. We popped in to check out the annual Health and Wellness Expo. We're here at the Health and Wellness Expo for 2014 at the Barnstable Senior Center. As you can see behind me, it's bustling with activity. We're going to check out what's going on behind us.
The Friends are the fundraising organization for the Senior Center. We're the group that has functions during the year that raises money that we give to the Senior Center. For example, building these cabinets that surround us right here in this hallway were built in part by the Friends of the Barnstable Council on Aging. We are a group of 13 board members, and we meet once a month, and this is what we do. We have functions. We're thinking of perhaps putting out a cookbook in the near future from the Senior Center that would raise money for the Senior Center. We have a Halloween ball in October that raises funds for the Senior Center. But this is what we do. We encourage people to join the Friends, and it's $10 per year. And many hundreds of these senior citizens who come to the Senior Center are members of the Friends, and that money can go towards that. But anyone can join the Friends. They can call me. My name is Gary Sylvester. They can call me through the Senior Center here, and I'd be happy to send them out information so that they could become a friend of the Senior Center.
Well, we do it during May, which is Older Americans Month, and the topic is this year, Safe Today, Healthy Tomorrow. It's focused on fitness, finance, well-being, healthy eating, and the seniors love it because it's a place where they can just come. It's almost like a one-stop shop to get all the information they need, and it's in a place that they're familiar with. The Barnstable Senior Center have over 40 vendors that are here, and usually our attendance is over 200 or around 200 that come through the door. And they're very interested in the takeaways and the raffles, but also the fact that they can get all the information they need right here. And it's very simple. And we offer it for a few hours during the day from 10 to 1, and they're able to listen to talks. There's presentations given, so you can ask questions. There's also a lot of giveaways and some fun times. We have free cooking demonstrations and free food. So I mean, everybody comes together, and especially here at the Senior Center, it's all about community. So Trader Joe's definitely did. They donated some juices and some snacks, some healthy snacks for us. We're so thankful to them. The community comes together and supports this event every year, and we're so thankful for everyone to just take notice that it's an annual event every year, and all the services that we offer here at the Senior Center and every vendor that's here, we'll have more information available. But to come down next time, if you missed out this time, and join the Senior Center. Come on down.
To learn more about activities at the Barnstable Senior Center, visit town.barnstable.ma.us and click through to the Senior Center. Next week is Bay State Bike Week, a week devoted to raising awareness about cycling for fun, sport, and as an alternative to driving. It is a partnership between Mass Bike, Mass DOT, and Mass Rides in collaboration with local advocacy leaders, bike shop owners, and anyone else who likes seeing others go by bike. All are encouraged to take two-wheeled transportation next week. Visit baystatebikeweek.org for more details. Now let's get a look at sports with Brenna McCubry.
Good afternoon, Barnstable. I'm Brenna McCubry, here to bring you the latest on New England and Red Raiders sports. Last night, the Boston Bruins beat the Montreal Canadiens 1-0. After a scoreless 3 periods, Matt Frazier was able to tally his first playoff goal. Last night's game winner also marked his first league goal since making his NHL debut Wednesday night after being called up from the Providence Bruins. The Bees will be back in Boston at TD Garden tomorrow night at 7. The Boston Red Sox play tonight at 8:10 in Arlington, Texas. Clay Buchholz will have the start on the mound against the Texas Rangers. The Sox are currently ranked 4th in the Eastern Division. Taking a look at Barnstable High School sports, the boys varsity lacrosse team will be away at Hingham for a 6:30 face-off. That's all this afternoon for New England and Red Raiders sports. Here on Barnstable Today, I'm Brenna McCubry.
Well, be sure to tune in to our weekly hour-long news program Barnstable this morning, weekdays at 7 a.m. On Monday's show, we'll chat with Superintendent of Schools Dr. Mary Schakowsky and Town Manager Tom Lynch. Plus, we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.